Okay, so Umar TV, can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Yeah, Arun, I can.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I think so we have a bit number of people joining, so we can get started. Hello everyone, I'm Arun Pai. Today I will be hosting this meeting. Alex is out of office today, and so I'll be doing on his behalf. And I have a couple of colleagues joining with me, Uma and TB, so who have joined as panelists and will be helping me out. So yeah, so welcome everyone for the Hybrid Cloud Management X Technical User Group webinar for the month of May. Yeah, so today's agenda. Um, so we basically have today we'll be covering on the recommendations. Primarily, these are all the FinOps use cases. So the recommendations for all the FinOps. And I'll be covering a couple of new functionalities which um, are implemented after HCMX 24.2. And these are primarily implemented as community content. And so this will be, this is released on the on the on the marketplace portal. First recommendation is on the image aggregation based recommendations. So these are the existing ones. I'll be going over that a little bit to show to talk about what we had existing, and then two new capabilities, which are the community content capabilities, the workload placement recommendations, and sustainability based recommendations. So we'll go over those, and then I will have a small demo of each of these items to go in detail on how these things are implemented, and where you can access them, and how you can import into HCMX and then use them. Okay. So moving on here, so these are the regular forum links, so which you can share with your colleagues, customers, so they can join and then contribute as well, and get to know the latest in HCMX, whatever the technical demos we do, so they can join and then listen in. So community links here, and these are just the usual logistics. Yeah, so all HCMX FinOps, how it is, what it is, and everything. So these are usual stuff which I think Alex has presented many times, so I'm not going to go over them. So let me run through. Yeah. Okay. All right. So starting with the first one, so the image aggregation based recommendations, right? So these are the existing HCMX capability. I think this has been there in HCMX for many years now. So now as part of the FinOps, so you can use the image aggregation based recommendations. So basically, you when you're aggregating an image, right? So for example, maybe let's say you are aggregating in an image Node.js from on the Azure one, right? So you have created the Azure provider. You have imported all the images from Azure, and then one of the image you are one of the service, one of the image you wanted to create as a service in HCMX, right? So then you basically go and then create that particular image, and then try to see the price, right? So you add the regions, you add the instance types and everything, and then you will be able to see the pricing. So these are the price recommendations which are directly taken from that particular vendor, be it Azure or AWS or GCP, right? So so we directly fetch those price. So as you can see in the screenshot here, so this price is showing that for each of these instance type, where I have selected only these 4 instance type, right? So each of these instance type, what is the price which are showing. So now this price is just a reference, right? So you can use that price, use it as a reference, and then set the related offering price on that particular offering itself, and then the subscription will carry that price, right? So but this is just a reference, right? So and then this image and it's specific to this particular image, and this is specific to this particular vendor. So that means you can only show this price for a particular image, which is Node.js in this case, and for Azure, right? So if you have a similar image for AWS, so it will be a completely different subscription or offering. So this is kind of what we had in image aggregation. So I mean, you can still use it. There is no problem, and but it will be more specific to that particular cloud provider and everything. So to overcome that, so what we have done is we have created two new content. Uh, and so that has been posted onto the marketplace portal as FinOps solutions. So you can go and then download the latest version of FinOps solutions from the Micro Focus marketplace portal, and then you can see that we have added two new content packs or service designs and offerings and etc. Right. So one of them is the workload placement recommendations, right? So the workload placement recommendations is basically uh, is a community content, first of all, right? So it's a kind of a POC one which we have done. So you can always enhance, and then we also will be adding more into that. But this is just a way we have implemented to showcase so what can be done and how the workload placement recommendations can be implemented, right? So this is not so just to make sure this is not the exact productized version of these recommendations, but just the community wise, the POC wise. So just a way on how it can be done, right? So just giving an idea. So here, right, so you can see this particular content. So this content has been implemented to um, cater for both Azure as well as AWS provider, right? So a single offering based on what you select, right? So it can deploy in Azure or AWS, right? So only one of them. But here, I think the main use case is to show the pricing, right? So I will be showing that more in detail in the demo, but you can see the price coming up here. It will show the price on based on whatever the things you have selected, and then you can play around and see the price, and then there is a recommendation JSP as well, right? So the best fit, which will show what is the recommended among or between these two based on the selections what you have done, right? So and then this is just a recommendation, so you can always override and then maybe choose the non-recommended ones, but the recommendation will show based on the fetched prices what is the least one, and then show that as the best fit. And another thing also important to note is that all this price what is shown here is dynamically fetched right directly from the provider. So for AWS it is fetched for that particular image ID, and then for that particular account it's directly fetched from the AWS provider, and then the price is shown there, right? So same way for Azure as well. So we are directly fetching the price and then showing it, right? So this is kind of everything is done in the JSPs, the dynamic JSPs. So so the price is also fetched from JSPs, so you can make use of that as well, and then use that in any other functionality as well. Okay. So I will show in detail about all these things today. So and this is one of the content what we have developed, and then it will be very useful for any demo purpose or anything. So and then you can always enhance them and then contribute into making it better. And the second content is on the sustainability based recommendations. So basically based on the carbon footprint. So this is implemented right now only for Azure. I mean, Azure is right now providing the carbon footprint data for each of these region, right? So what we have done is so we are showing the carbon footprint for each of these region in the region drop down, right? So now in this particular example, so we have only 3 regions showing up because those are the only regions which we have done the synchronization for. So but more if you do so, that will be fetched and shown. Um, but you can see based on this, right? So you can see each of these region, what is the carbon footprint, and then based on that you can select that particular region if that particular offering you are concerned on the carbon emissions and so on, right? So this is one of the sustainability based recommendations, and as you can see, so we'll be bringing more of these things into the HCMX, and then we'll be also be trying to merge of all these contents and then make it single, right? So that you will have all in one single content where you will have sustainability data as well as your pricing recommendations, best fit recommendations, the placement recommendations, and also using the pricing app. So you will be able to calculate the price based on the selections and then also generate the expense list. So all together, if you put it across, so it will be a very big use case for the demo. Yeah. So moving on, let me quickly jump to the demo here. So before that, see if I okay. Yeah, so nothing else. Okay. Yeah, so I just want to show the marketplace here. So the content which I'm showcasing today, it's completely uploaded onto the marketplace. So you can just search for FinOps solution in the address in the search bar here. So you will be able to see these FinOps solutions here, and then you can see the latest version, which is the 1.0, and then you can see all these 4 things are added. So the tag management, the workload recommendation for carbon footprints, which is a sustainability content, as well as the workload placement recommendation content. So all these 3 content are part of this. And also we have vCenter based recommendations, which is also released as part of the marketplace portal release. Okay. So yeah, so let me quickly move on to the demo here. Yeah, so here I have 24.2 instance running. So the first thing is on the image aggregation. So let me show you what I meant by the image aggregation feature, which I was showing. So for example, here, right? So if I want to fetch this particular image, the RabbitMQ, so and then so let's say I have these 3 regions selected, and so yeah, so it's loading it. So once I select the region, right, so which I want to publish this particular image, so you can see this is done for Azure, and then it's a Linux type image, and then I've selected this region, and then these 4 instance types, right? So then if I click on view pricing data, so you can see that it will show up the pricing information, and so it will show for every region and every instance type, right? So what instance type for what region is this particular cost, right? So and then this you have to bake into the offering layer, and then make sure this price is being honored, and then this price, this just a governance, right? So it will just show you this price, and then you have to implement that um, per hour or per day or per week or whatever it is, right? And then implement that logic in the offering and everything, and then show it. So this was the image aggregation existing implementation. The same way you can fetch for uh, any other one here. So for example, maybe Oracle, if I search, right, so for the selected regions, um, so let me select a couple of regions here, maybe US West and US East. So it will show the instance type. So I wanted to show one of them on the AWS. So same way for AWS, so fetch it and then fetch the price. It's loading the instance sizes for this particular image. Takes a minute or two. Yeah. So let me pick maybe another two instance type. Okay, so and then let's see the pricing. So you can see uh, the various instance sizes and for the region, right? So this saying unavailable because so this type is not there for this particular region probably. So that's why it says unavailable. But yeah, so you can see these recommendations. So now if you have to import it, so you import it and then based on these recommendations, so you go and add that in the offering. So that's how we used to do it in image aggregation. So but so what is to happen is so this particular image is exactly for AWS, and then you cannot do you have to search another one for similar one for Azure if you have to do, and then that will be two different services. So over here what we have done is so we have created a new service, a new service design, and a new offering has been created called Workload Placement Recommendations. So this one it will show the placement recommendations for both Azure and Azure and AWS to start with, right? And for the particular image ID what you select. So for example, here, let's say I select general purpose, and then let me say I say 2 CPUs, and then 4 GB of memory, and then Linux as a type. And the recommendation is for now it is cost. So we are still not done the security and performance, but you can see, so that also is something which we can do in future. So you can also expand to that. So you can change the script however you want, and then add those recommendations as well. And then so region, let it be West US. So now if I select my provider name, which is PM account here, and then let me say I select one of the images, maybe for example CentOS, right? So now you can see the price is being fetched dynamically for this particular image, for this particular account, for the region, and the instance type, right? The CPU and memory, right? So all this taking into consideration, the price has been fetched, and then you can see for those image, for those particular CPU and memory, so T3 and T4 are the ones which are available, and then these are the vendor pricing, right? So per hour. So this is what uh, it is available there. And same way for Azure, if I go and search for let's say same PM account, and maybe I'll search a similar CentOS image, let's say 8.2. So for Azure, you can see, yeah, so it has fetched the pricing recommendation. So, and then you can see 3 instance types are available, um, and then it's showing up that, right? So now the best fit, you can see it automatically calculated the best fit, and then it's saying AWS T4 medium is the best fit, right? So which means I have to select this A4 T4G medium. So this based on the price is the best fit for this particular instance type. So that is what is the recommendation. So now you can select that, and then you can go with that. I mean, I can always say, okay, so if once I select this, I can set that particular instance as a default. So it's just a matter of adding a business rule, which is not being done here, but you can go and add that. But yeah, so once I select that, so you can see this comes up, and then you can choose to do that. Or let's say you don't want to go with the best recommendation for some other use cases, right? So you want to select something on Azure specific, so you want to do that, so you can do that, and then select Azure. So another thing also here is the same content is catering for 2 vendors, so Azure and AWS. So that is also something new, so which you can implement. So I'll show you the service design. So it's single component, and then that content is supporting both the providers, and that is also something which you can use and then enhance. Since it's a community content, so you can always enhance. And the second thing is, yeah, so I can go and change, for example, maybe let's say CPU and memory. So I may be making it 4 and 16, right? Or 4 and 8. And then let's see if I fetch the price according, right? So now you can see the prices for this one is changed, and then it has fetched the new prices for that particular instance type. And let me say I make it 8 and think 32 probably is the extra large one. So once I do that, so you can see the prices have changed, but the types are same, but probably AWS will give you maybe better one. So you can see it has added M7 as the one, and other things are available, right? So now, based on all this data, so still the recommendation is to go with T4 too large, and that is what is recommended. So you can use that, or you can change accordingly. So, so this is what the workload placement recommendation is. So, and yeah, so very powerful and very useful use case. So, I mean, you can always show it very different ways. So, dynamic JS, so you will be able to process behind the scenes, and then you will be able to parse and then show. I'll show you the service design, and then you will know how it has been implemented. So, let me quickly go back to the service designer here, and let me search for workload. Yeah, so you can see we have multiple versions. So 1.1 is the published one, which is that particular service. But yeah, so 1.2 will be the one which we can edit and then play around. Yeah, so if I have to go, so let me show you the design, right? So you can see it's a single component design. So yeah, it's same single component. So one server component, server type component, which is catering for both AWS and Azure. So you can see the resource offering here. If I go to the resource offering, so you will be able to see one single deployment, which is based on the selection what you have done in the offering, right? For the subscription. So it will go and deploy. Yeah, so you can see one of the actions, which is multi-provider deployment. Version 1, right? So this is internally using the same AWS and Azure out of the box deployments. So, but um, this offering or this particular overflow is a wrapper flow for that, and then based on what you have selected in the front end, right? So it is going to deploy one of them. So you can tweak this particular content for your use case, however you want, and change it, and then make use of this particular content, and you can enhance it to add more options. You can enhance it to use to handle more number of use cases or anything, right? So you can do whatever on top of this. So you can see various options from the user options are being passed here. So based on what is selected, so all these will be used, and then all these things are already mapped in the backend, okay, on the flow. Yeah. So this is one thing, and so coming back to the service design, so you can see the designer here, so as well as the configuration options. So I just want to give a quick glance of the JSPs here. So one of the JSPs is on the pricing. So let me show you the pricing JSPs. So you can see, so all this data, oops, parameters. So all this data, so you can see it is dynamically fetched from Amazon, right? So it's already baked in. So same way Azure. So all this data have been dynamically fetched from Azure as well. So based on different things, so it's been fetched, and also same way. So the best fit recommendations. So you can see this particular JS. So this is doing all the logic for calculating what kind of type is selected, and what kind of data is selected, and based on that, so it is doing the math on what is the minimum best fit logic it is applying, and then showing it accordingly. So again, this is again SJS, which is provided, so which is a community edition. So it could be something and not be catering your use case exactly, right? So and then you can always go and tweak and then change as per your requirement, and then enhance it, right? So you can always do that. So that's a best thing. So you can download the community content and then change it. Okay, so and yeah, so and other thing is so yeah, so this is working, right? So you can I can go you and then show this particular thing. One of the services which already been deployed. So because I don't want to create a service, so this may take a little while. So I'll want to show the one which is already being deployed. Yeah, so you can see one of them which is already deployed as a workload placement recommended once, and then you can see, yeah, so you can see all the data here. So let me say modify so that you will know what were the selections, what were the user options. Um, yeah, so you can see so this particular offering which was deployed with for the recommended 2 CPU and 4 GB memory for the Linux, and then CentOS which was deployed, right? So the best fit for AWS, and then that's what I mean that's not was selected for the demos, right? So you can go and then change it, but you could have selected the best fit and then we would have deployed that best fit as well. Okay. So but yeah, so this particular content is deployed, and then you can see the AWS one. So and then that content is working, and the AWS instance was deployed. So let me show the managed service instance. I guess, yeah. Yeah, so you can see, yeah, it is the cloud AWS one which is deployed there. Okay. Yeah. So okay, I think this is what on the workload placement one. Um, and so let me go to the other one, which is on the sustainability. So sustainability content again. So it is one of the service designs which is created here. So it's uh, yeah. So you can see. So this is one of the contents which was created. So using the out of the box, and then and then that's been published here. So sustainability workload placement recommendations. So this is right now it's only available for regions. Um, and so let me scroll down here. So once you select the provider, which is the account which you want to deploy. So you can see for this particular region, so what are the for this particular account, so 3 regions are available. So these are the ones. So you can see the carbon emissions for each of these, and then based on that, so you can select what kind of region you want to deploy. So and then you can select the least one, uh, and then go with that, right? So and then you can select rest of the options as is, but that recommendation is showing up here. So rest all remain same. So only thing the addition will be to show the region along with the carbon emission data there, right? So that is also again fetched from the vendor. And then when we do the resourcing, so we fetch from the vendor and then include that in the resource sync, and then that has been fetched and shown over here. And the rest of the things are same, so there is no change there. So you can see the tags also. So this is also a tag content, so you can also add additional tag, and you can also add some custom tags if you want. So that's also one of the functionality of the FinOps solutions what we added. Yeah. So okay, so I think that's about on the demo for the content what I had. So any questions? Um, let me see if I can. Um, okay, I don't know. Yeah, so I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, I guess. Let me go and unmute, and then that way you can ask any questions. If you have any, but I don't see any questions in Q&A as well. Okay, so I have unmuted everyone, so you can have any questions, so please feel to ask. So I see some questions coming in. Is the carbon intensity of the electricity grid for the given region? Yes, I think so. This is the data what is published on the Azure portal, so we fetch it and then show it. Yeah, so this carbon footprint for that particular region itself, right? So it's um, not for that particular instance. I think it's on the instance, not for the whole region, right? So for that particular instance and uh, for that particular region, right? So for a particular VM and a region, right? So not for the whole region itself. That's what it is. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. So as I already told, so this is the community content, so which we have released after 24.2. So it's not available out of the box on 24.2. So it's available on the marketplace. So you can go and download that, and then I think you can even deploy it on 24.1 as well. So I don't see why you cannot deploy them, but um, Uma, correct me if I'm wrong here. So, but yeah, so we'll be able to deploy it in older version of HCMX as well. Um, but yeah, so you can download and import them if required. That's what you have to do. Okay, so yeah, so I don't see any more questions coming in. Yeah, so if no other questions, I think we're good for today's call. Yeah, so just a reminder, so next session, it's on next month of June. So I think it will be mostly the TAW for the upcoming HCMX release, which Alex will be presenting. And yeah, so stay tuned for the invites. So it will be on 20th of June, which is the next month. And yeah, so meanwhile, any questions or anything, any feedback you have, so just drop us any email. Feel free to do that. So and here all the other different materials what you have, so you can go and reach, and then in case if you need more data, so yeah, so just reach out to us, any of us, and then drop an email, so we'll be happy to help, or post your questions on the forum. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's it for today, and then have a good rest of the day, and then talk to you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.